I was coaching an all-star game at UMD, and when I got done and I was driving home, I saw all these messages from Janine and different people, and they said Megan is missing.
Come on. Gapper, let's go, let's go! Aaron, you might score.
I got a call from the sheriff's department from Graham Murray. It was saying for me to call them back. It didn't say what happened or anything. So I called them back and she was missing, you know, they hadn't heard from her.
She's 34 years old, you know, it's not 4 hours being missing. You don't, you know, it's not really something to be concerned about, but of course you get that feeling in the bottom of your stomach like, oh my gosh, because of her history in trying to commit suicide. So what we found out is she had gone to Duluth, picked up some Benadryl from the Walgreens store, and I guess that's used to make meth, and so you only can buy so much of it at a time. And so she bought up what she legally could, and they put it in the computer, but she crossed the border over to Superior and went to another Walgreens. And in the amount of time that the computer couldn't catch up with her, made a purchase of more. And so she got her all the Benadryl she needed she knew that would kill her.
They said that they found her and she was dead.
She was just a loving girl, grew up, was a great student, had a beautiful smile.
I can remember a time when I was like 10 years old, bullies picking on me in the backyard, and Megan coming out and telling them, you leave him alone or I'm gonna kick your ass or something like that. And then the person smarting off to him and her saying, I know where you live, you know, and you know, she just was an amazing sister.
You see all the time in obituaries where it says, Sally died after a long, courageous battle with cancer. I just feel that Megan died after a long, courageous battle with mental illness.
She hid it so well. Like anyone with any type of problem, they learn how to disguise it so well. And that's what she did, besides closed doors with like her boyfriend or her ex-husband or us. She just knew how to disguise it, it came to a point where she wasn't even disguising it. It was just natural, you know, that's just what she did.
One of the things that happened with Megan was when she was 15 years old, she was pregnant. She got pregnant, and she was probably 9th grade, 10th grade. And we thought through all the process. We thought about having the baby. We thought about abortion. We thought about adoption. Basically, I'm the one that decided. I mean, I think I was the one that got the final verdict on what to do. And I was very adamant about it, that we should do open adoption. And it wasn't received real well. I think at that point that was the downfall for Megan. I think it's an extremely unselfish thing to do. I think in her mind and in her notes that we've read that she felt it was the best thing to do. But I think over time, I think that was her downfall. I think she changed dramatically at that stage of her life, and she was never, ever the same. It was a very difficult thing, and that's something that I have to live with. You know, they talk about parental guilt, and I have to live with that one for the rest of my life, that maybe I made the decision that started her downfall. Well, everybody's telling me I should go to a counselor. I didn't feel like I wanted to go to a counselor, but I did. I found out recently, or at that time, that the best thing for me to be is to be around someone who has been through that. And for me, that happened in the hospital. When Megan died, I had scheduled knee surgery prior to that, and we couldn't have the ceremony for a while, so I decided to have my knee surgery. And when I was going to get carted in for my knee surgery, a nurse came up to me and in the room, and she was crying, and she said, "I know this is just so unprofessional." She asked who I was, and she said she lost her brother to suicide. And it was very emotional, and she kind of became my guardian angel. It was very good for me to do something like that. I felt, and I've reciprocated and done that for someone else. I feel compelled to do that. There was a young boy who took his life in recently around here, and I just felt that I needed to talk to the parents. And I don't know why, I just felt compelled.
John actually approached me a day or two after my son died, and he had heard about what happened, and he just kind of came and reached out to me and kind of explained that the same thing happened to him, and then if I ever needed anyone to talk to, that he had, been through the same thing, and somebody had helped him out in the same way, and it really helped.
Isn't it weird holding the clothes and
Oh,
stuff?
yeah, it
It's
is.
so weird. I mean,
It's just, the night it happened, I grabbed a shirt off his bedroom floor, a sweatshirt, and I sleep with it almost every night. And I would just smell it, and now it doesn't smell like him anymore. But I knew that would go away.
I know exactly what you're saying, because Megan had, maybe perfume or makeup on her neck and collar, and I would smell her sweatshirt, and then I wanted to preserve it, but you're right, all of a sudden,
I know,
it's
I'm like,
gone.
should I put it in a bag or what? And that first thing.
We have a huge problem. I think there's like a suicide every 38 seconds in the United States. And the problem with it is that nobody talks about it. Like nobody talks about mental illness either. It's kind of always shoved under the carpet. And my goal is to create like a multimedia exhibit. I do photography. A multimedia exhibit on the survivors, of how it affects survivors. We're going out to the junkyard here, the Cohasset junkyard, to take a picture of Jolie. And for the exhibit, we're going to do it at this junkyard in this ugly old dumpster. And to me, it just seemed like this is where it needed to be. To me, it was beautiful, but it's also rugged and ugly and tarnished, because I think Jolie and I are a little bit tarnished right now, and probably will be forever. I mean, so it just seems like a perfect fit. Stay there and now look to your left without moving your head if that's possible. There you go, just like that. This is beautiful.
Isn't it weird how it just hits you?
The other day, I get really sad, like if I see, just like a family and a little girl, because Megan was a little girl, and sometimes it's just, I can see like 10 little girls with 10 families, and then the 11th, I start to cry.
I know, it just hits you.
And it's just weird. I think sometimes it's like a little bit of anger, but I'm kind of beyond that. I remember not long after Megan died, maybe 3 months after, we went to a Twins game, and they had a kids cam, and they show families with their kids. And I remember I was just a puddle at the Twins game.
Yeah.
But I'm getting better now, but those things just rip at you.
You go through 100 different emotions and thoughts and what ifs and the whys, and I guess I've just found the best way to do it is like one day at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time.
You've never known this pain before, this deep, deep pain, and so it's so foreign and you don't know how to handle it, and so as time goes on, you just know what it is, what it feels like.
I don't really cope with it. I just continue on, but I don't continue on and put it behind me. I don't put it in front of me or whatever. I just continue living with Megan.
Seeing what it does to them, and seeing what it does to their friends, seeing what it does to grandma and grandpa, seeing what it does to everybody. I mean, it puts them in a terrible situation the rest of their life, so they're hurting more than themselves. And I know Nobody knows what it's like when you're at that point where you have to take your life. I'm sure you're not thinking rationally, but at least if one person can be saved by seeing this exhibit, I think then I've done my job.